You there! Pay attention! Going to learn to do the painty things.
Welcome Reaper fans, today we have the King Cobra. This is a Reaper Bones Black miniature. This is the retail version. And we'll do a little unboxing and then we'll go straight into the painting. I'll give you a little 360 of the box. King Cobra. Okay, let's take this bad boy out. Let's get this book opened. Very simple packaging. King Cobra. There's a fair weight on this Bones Black. It's very heavy. Right, I need to find a base for this now and work out a colour scheme. I think we're going to be going with a sandy look. I'll go for the classic Cobra with the eye pattern on the sides there, but I'm going to go for a sandy colour for this, more of an Egyptian themed miniature. Okay, I will come back once I have put on a base coat and I have put him onto a base, and we'll go from there. It should be a very simple paint. We're talking all the sandy colours, and with my dry brushing I'll be adding some highlights for here, eyes, and of course we'll be doing special dry brushing across all the scales, which will bring out the scales. So it's a super simple and fast but a very effective and nice paint job. So I'll come back once we're ready to start. Quite a few of you have got in touch with me and said about the Rattle Can spray primers, and are they really working with the Bones Black miniatures? Because many of you, including myself, have had so many problems with the Rattle Can primers with the original Bones miniatures, but so far with every single Bones Black miniature I've had no problems at all. Today I used Avalanche Sunset, and this one is from Games Workshop, and it worked perfect. Totally dry. It's given a lovely coverage of the complete miniature, and it's a fantastic colour to work from for that Egyptian sandy feel. So I can recommend Citadel Miniatures, Games Workshop for their paints, and I can also recommend Army Painter for their spray paints too. But so far not an issue at all with Bones Black, and way to go. It's perfect because I paint a lot of miniatures and I like to have a spray primer. It saves me a lot of time. You get a nice even coverage over the whole miniature and you can just go to work, and I'm so happy that the Bones Black have been working really well with the Rattle Can primers. So as you can see, I have added a nice base. This is a 100 by 200 millimeter 3mm thick base. It's MDF. I've put on a gravel onto that with PVA glue, and I have of course added the primer. Now the next thing we go to is we are going to start adding some details. Now I am going to use a lighter yellow, and I'm going to use some blacks. So we're going to have blacks and yellows wet blended across the whole miniature, including the two little eyes that will be on what I call the wings of the snake head. So I will come back and we'll go through that together. Okay then, for this I'm using coal black and I'm using some gilded yellow. Now all I'm going to do is, I've got a Regiment brush by Army Painter, and I'm going straight with the black because I want lines going across. So what I'm going to do is start off by going across a miniature to give some nice lines across a snake. With snakes, the pattern just goes around very simply. You don't have to follow the scales. What you're doing is you're just working on the lines. So what we're doing, we've got even lines going across. Oh, let's get that in camera view for you. There we go. Just adding lots of paint. One more here. We're only adding it to the scales. The belly of the snake, we'll be keeping that here, we'll be keeping that clear. So we're just using our paint and going across, making nice little lines. There we go. One more here. One more here. And the back, I want a V. So we're going down like so. This side. And up the other side. There we are. And a bit more around the tail. All the way around. So, two more. One more here. And of course, we want our eyes. So let's lift this up a little bit. Now I am just going to go across. Let's get this in the light for you. And I am going across. And across. It's like a little, almost like a little heart shape. And we do the same on the other side. With snakes, their patterns are quite often different, and they are not a uniform pattern, meaning that they are perfectly in line with one another. So what we do is we work out a basis of different patterns on the snake. You don't need to have a super straight line, because it wouldn't look right, because snakes aren't like that. Anyway, now I'm going into the yellow and adding a tiniest of black. And the reason I'm doing this is because I just want to highlight the black here. Same again. What we're doing is we're just adding a little variation in the colour from the black, and what will happen, that will blend in nicely with the yellow once I've started adding the lighter yellow colours. So what we're doing is we're just going gently across the side, the black, just blending that in a tiny bit, and going across on all the stripes, just following one direction on one side. This will just help emphasize the pattern, but it will also help blend the black into the yellow. So we do this on all the black lines. We'll do it on both sides of the black line, like so. Okay, as you can see, what I'll do now is I will come back after I've finished the rest of the black lines, and then I'll show you what we do next. It's just a case of adding a lighter yellow to the middle parts of the snake here and around, and then we do some dry brushing to bring out the scales. Then we go back to our ink washes. There'll be a light brown ink wash. This will go into all those lovely recesses around the head and give shadow all along the belly, and it will come up beautiful. But I'll come back once I've got to the next stage. So we're at the next stage, and as you can see, it's working lovely. Both the colours have blended in lovely with the black, and it's given a lovely effect to a whole miniature already. Now I'm going back into the gilded yellow with a huge dry brush, and all I'm going to do now is go over the whole miniature with the scales, like so. This will instantly blend everything together from the stripes of what we've just done. As you can see, it's all matching in again. So we just go around. Remember, like I said to you before, always go against the scales, so we're leaving the highlights on the tips of the scales, like so. There we go. Just going across all the scales. And also we're going to go up the belly. This is just the first dry brush, because what we're going to do now, once this has dried, I will be giving the whole miniature my usual coat of ink wash. This will bring out the shading, it will bring out all the lovely colours and blend them all in, and it will become a more natural looking paint. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the rest of the snake now, and then I'll put on that brown ink wash, and I'll come back and I'll show you how I'm getting on. I've applied the ink wash now and let it dry, and it's really blended in all the miniature really well. It's all settled down and all the stripes now have come together and it looks really nice. I'm very happy with that. I've just started to do the eyes, and I thought I'd show you how to paint snake eyes. Now the snake eyes are very simple. We started off with a white base colour. I am then going into some fresh blood for the eye. Then we have the black, which will be the line of the eye, and just around the line of the eye we're going to go with orange. Right, so if I can get this in camera, let's see if we can get this done in one shot for you. So I'm going into the red and straight, let me see, I'll get the camera in there. There we go. This isn't going to be easy. No. There you are. So we just put the red on to the eye. Like so. Make sure you get the whole of the red done. As I said before, never worry about making mistakes, because we'll go around the eye with a black anyway. So we take the red off our paint with the brush, and I'm going straight in with the black, and then this is still while the paint is wet. Now with a snake eye it's more of a line, so we're going from the top and we just go down like so to the middle of the eye. Oh, I can't, there we are. Now what we do is we go around the actual pupil with a hint of our orange. And this will bring out the eye pupil like so. Now you can't really see that too well. It'll look better in the photographs later. I need to work out my setup so I can get closer work, so I can show you the work closer up. Now the last thing I do with the eye is I go into my Dragon White, and I'm just taking a tiny little drop, and what we're doing is we're just placing that there. One tiny little spot of white on the eye, and you can see it's a reflection now, and it's giving that eye the reflection. Once that is dry, it gets a coat of varnish. Done. That's your eye done. Now what I'm going to do with the rest of the miniature is I'm going to do some slight dry brushing over the miniature. I'm going to finish off the base, and then I'll be covering the whole miniature in a satin varnish. Satin varnish is a half varnish. It's not gloss, it's more of a medium, so you'll still get that shine, and it's a great varnish for a nice leather effect. So perfect for like barbarian skin and sweaty miniatures. But for snake skin or anything with leather, it works perfectly because it gives it just the right amount of shine. So I will give this a finish up, and I'll come back and show you the finished mini. Here we are. This is the finished miniature. I have coated the whole miniature in a nice satin varnish, and it's come out lovely. It's given a lovely effect to the scales of the snake. Like I say, it's a nice simple paint, very effective, and it'll look great on a tabletop. The eyes are glowing. The eyes I gave a gloss varnish. That gives a much higher shine than the actual body, so you get an extra bit of goodness to the eyeballs. This is the satin varnish I used. This is from Veleca, and it's just normal satin varnish. For the gloss varnish, I used the Gloss Varnish Effects from Army Painter, and that's a very good gloss varnish. So there we are, that's this week's paint. Now let me show you what's in store for next week. Next week I'm starting something a little bit different. I'm going to start introducing some box sets into my weekly paint. So next week I will be painting the complete Dragonbone Catapult. This is the box set from Reaper Miniatures, and I will paint this and add all bases and make these how I would like to see them on my tabletop. So next week the complete Dragonbone Catapult and crew will be painted. If you enjoy my channel, then please subscribe to the channel. If you want to support my channel, just become a patron. All my patrons are added to the end of all my videos in the credits to say thank you. So until next time.
Goodbye, my fellow ones. Sleep well. Dream of evil paintbrushes.